Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Nandana Raja Jana Ranjana Nandana Raja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Nandana Raja Jana Ranjana Nandana Raja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Om Vishnupad Punamansa Privrajaka Charja Stotra Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Panamansa Paripradjaka Stotra Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Mukund Radha Kunikiri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamana Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Mobile check, please. Please see that your phone is silent. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:23-45. Yeah, is that what it says? Yeah. Nanu svārtha-vimūḍhānāṁ pramattānām gṛhehayā aho naha smārayām gopa-vākyaiḥ satāṁ gatiḥ nanu svārtha-vimūḍhānāṁ pramattānām gṛhehayā aho na smārayām gopa-vākyaiḥ satāṁ gatiḥ nanu svārtha-vimūḍhānāṁ pramattānām gṛhehayā aho na smārayām gopa-vākyaiḥ satāṁ gatiḥ nanu svārtha-vimūḍhānāṁ pramattānām gṛhehayā aho na smārayām gopa-vākyaiḥ satāṁ gatiḥ
nanu svārtha-vimūḍhānāṁ pramattānām
pramattānām gṛhehayā
aho na smārayām gopa-vākyaiḥ satāṁ gatiḥ
Ladies, nanu svārtha-vimūḍhānāṁ, pramattānām gṛhehayā, smārayām gopa-vākyaiḥ satāṁ gatiḥ, nanu svārtha-vimūḍhānāṁ, pramattānām gṛhehayā, smārayām gopa-vākyaiḥ satāṁ gatiḥ, nanu svārtha-vimūḍhānāṁ, pramattānām gṛhehayā, smārayām gopa-vākyaiḥ satāṁ gatiḥ, nanu, indeed, sva-artha, about their own true benefit. Vimūḍhānām, who were bewildered. Pramattānām, who were intoxicated. Gṛha-īhayā, with their household endeavors. Aho, naha, us, smārayām, he reminded about. Gopa-vākyaiḥ, by the words of cowherds. Satāṁ, of the transcendental souls. Gatiḥ, the ultimate destination. Indeed, infatuated as we are with our household affairs, we have deviated completely from the real aim of our life. But now, just see how the Lord, through the words of these simple cowherd boys, has reminded us of the ultimate destination of all true transcendentalists. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Tadhati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shagana Raganatan Tatam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Pravijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Shahagana Lolita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vanchakopatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nanu svārtha-vimūḍhānāṁ. Yeah, we got it. Nanu svārtha-vimūḍhānāṁ pramattānām gṛhehayā. Aho na smārayām gopa-vākyaiḥ satāṁ gatiḥ. The Brahmins are condemning themselves. Svārtha-vimūḍhānāṁ. We're all great fools because we don't know the goal of our life. Nate vidu svārtha-gatim gṛha-īhayā svā-artha. We're just busy with external things, and we've missed the point of developing love for Krishna. So, vimūḍhānāṁ, we're bewildered, totally bewildered about the goal of our life. Pramattānām, we're crazy, we're mad. Matta means mad, and pramatta, intensely mad, utterly mad. Gṛhehayā, we're busy in our household affairs. It means not just gross sex life, but household duties. In the case of the Brahmins, we're doing all these rituals, we're doing all these rites, we're busy with all of these responsibilities, and we're fools because we've forgotten Krishna. Aho, nanu in aho. Aho means oh, exclamation. Aho, na smārayām. But Krishna has reminded us. How has he reminded us? He's reminded us of satāṁ gatiḥ, the goal of the Vedic knowledge, or the goal of the transcendentalists. Satāṁ gatiḥ. And how has he reminded us? Gopa-vākyaiḥ. We're Brahmins, we're the teachers of human society, we're at the top of the social order, and he's humiliated us by reminding us of the goal of life through the words of cowherd boys. This is our position, that we had to be reminded by cowherd boys, not even kshatriyas. Gopa-vākyaiḥ. Of course, these gopas are transcendental gopas, but they've reminded us. Krishna, through these boys, has reminded us of our real goal. Text 46. Anyatha purnakamasya kaivalyadya shisham patehe ishitavyai kemasmabhir ishi ishasyaitad vitampanam. Hare Krishna. So, is the microphone adjusted the way it's supposed to be adjusted now? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Are you satisfied with it? Is it too high, too low? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay, now it's good. Although Lord Krishna is the absolute truth, he humbly sent his cowherd boyfriends to beg food from the Brahmins. Sorry, that's the purport. Let's get the translation. Otherwise, why would the Supreme Controller, whose every desire is already fulfilled, and who's the master of liberation, and all other transcendental benedictions enact this pretense with us, who are always to be controlled by him. Purport. Although Lord Krishna is the absolute truth, he humbly sent his cowherd boyfriends to beg food from the Brahmins. In so doing, he exposed the Brahmins' foolish arrogance and established the glories of his own transcendental beauty by attracting their very wives to surrender at his lotus feet. Anyata, otherwise, if we weren't such fools, he wouldn't have had to do this. He wouldn't have had to do this if we weren't so foolish. Purnakamasya. And he did it by his mercy. He had nothing to gain. Purnakama means one whose desires are already completely fulfilled. Oh, Krishna had no purpose, not that the way we trick someone to get something. It was by his causeless mercy that he reminded us through this, through his friends. Purnakamasya, anyata purnakamasya, kaivalya adi ashisham pate. And he's the master of all blessings, ashisham. Everyone's always asking, Ashirvad Guru, Ashirvad Dena. So he is the giver of all blessings, finally. Whatever blessings anyone else may give, they ultimately come from Krishna. And what blessings does he give? Kaivalya Adi. Kaivalya can be taken as impersonal liberation. Kaivalyam narakayate, not really a blessing. But the acharyas say that Kaivalyam can also mean Krishna prema, because Kaivalya means purely, 100%. Like we say, Kevala Advaita, Kevala Advaita Vad. The Mayavadis say that everything is absolutely one. Not just Advaita, but Kevala Advaita. No difference, no nothing else. Purely absolute monism. So here, Kaivalya can mean purely absolute love for Krishna. That's the real benediction. Of course, any other benediction Krishna can give. But that's the greatest benediction. Kaivalyadi, Ashisham Pate is the master of all benedictions. Ishitavyai Kim Asmabhi Ishasya Etad Vidambana. He's the Isha, the supreme controller, Ishavasya Idam Sarvam. And we're Ishitavya. We're meant to be controlled. Ekala Ishvara Krishna, our Sabhritya. There's only one supreme controller, that's Krishna. And everyone else is a servant of Krishna. So we're meant to be controlled by him. Ishitavya. And Asmabhi Etad Vidambanam. We were bewildered, and he bewildered us again. We were bewildered by our arrogance, by our pride, we're Brahmins, we're performing an important sacrifice, we're engaged in prescribed duties, we're the head of the social order. The whole universe is going on because we're performing the, what is that? Nanu evam pravartitam chakram, the circle of yajna and its results is going on because of us. We were so foolish. And he's fooled us again. He played this pastime of pretending to be hungry, begging food through his cowherd friends, and he bewildered us by his external energy. No, cowherd boys, be gone. We have important work to do. So we were foolish. Vrindavan. We were foolish, and he again performed this pastime to show how foolish we are. And as pointed out in the purport, that we're fools, and our wives, they're the enlightened players in this drama. Our wives. They're not Brahmins, they don't go to the Gurukul, they don't get Gayatri mantra, and they were on target, and we were bewildered. How humiliating is that? So he's shown up the Brahmins as fools, and he's glorified our wives because they're devotees. What is that? Ye bhaje shevara bhakti-yoga. Those who engage in the service of Krishna are actually great, and everyone else is wretched. So he's shown that our wives are great and we're wretched fools. This is the statement of the Brahmins. All right, are there some comments, some questions?
Is this a one-off, or is the wife always more? Is this a one-off?
This one's off, I can tell you that.
Is this a one-off?
Or are the wives generally more intelligent and more devotional than the husbands, who are very important?
It's a minefield question. Is this a one-off, or are wives more? Ye bhaje shevara. Those who are engaged in the service of Krishna, those who are serious about Krishna, they may be wives, they may be husbands, they may be children. Prahlad Maharaj was great, and his father was a fool. He was 5 years old, and his father was the king of the three worlds, practically. But he was a fool, and his son was great. Why? Ye bhaje sheva. One who engages in the service in devotional service, pure devotional service to Krishna, he's great. And a bhakta, those who are non-devotees, heen char, dina hina yatasi. So we don't, yes, is that all right? No need to generalize who's usually, who's what. Our Brahmins usually better, our husbands usually better, and these better. The expectation, conventionally, the husband should be superior, the Brahmin should be superior, the sannyasi should be superior, GBC should be superior. But superior means engaged in pure devotional service. So the person who's washing the temple or taking your shoes can be in the superior position. The wife can be in a superior position. The child can be in a superior position. Jayadvaita, Jayadvaita. That's a bunch of gopa.
The devotees of Lord Chaitanya said wherever you are, there's Vrindavan, and it was explained that in our Krishna consciousness movement, because we're always chanting and dancing, so we're also in Vrindavan. So what's the importance of actually coming to Vrindavan, the physical Vrindavan Dham, if where we're chanting is already Vrindavan? Is there some difference there?
Vrindavan is wherever Krishna is, and wherever there's chanting, there's Krishna. Wherever the deity is there, that's Krishna. So then why come to Vrindavan here? There's no difference, but we don't see that there's no difference. We think, I'm in New York, I'm in Melbourne, I'm in Rio de Janeiro, I'm here or there. We don't see that we're in Vrindavan. Actually, we're in Vrindavan. Actually, every living entity is always in Vrindavan. But in the second canto, third canto, you'll find that the conditioned life of the living entity is like the dream of a person who sees his head cut off. Our position is like that of a person who sees his head cut off in a dream. So if you can see your head cut off, it means you're okay. But we're terrified, oh no, my head. So everything, this is all superfluous. The whole conditioned life is just a dream. But because of that dream, because we're dreaming, it all seems very real. All our great responsibilities, all the dramas, all the catastrophes, all the accomplishments, all the everything appears substantial. This body, I and mine, that's all fluff. So Prabhupada said, even now we're in the spiritual sky, but covered. So that's a matter of realization. So wherever we are, it's as good as Vrindavan if we're Krishna conscious. But we're not so Krishna conscious. And so we think that, no, this is just New York. So Vrindavan, in Vrindavan everything reminds us of Krishna. Almost everything. The tamal tree will be here. The temple established by Prabhupada will be here. So many devotees will be here. Jamuna will be here. Govardhan will be here. The dust of Vrindavan will be here. So many reminders of Krishna will be here. And so we get inspiration and our memory increases. And therefore, Prabhupada wanted us to come. Every year we should come to Vrindavan, come to Manipur. But those who are serving where they are, they're also in Vrindavan. One time, Srila Prabhupada was scheduled to attend the Rath-yatra in San Francisco, which was the Rath-yatra in North America at the time. There was no other. And the press was in New York, so the press manager had an idea that we could all pile in a van, drive across the country day and night. 3 days we'd be in San Francisco, we could get Prabhupada's association, and then we'd all be supercharged, and we could come back same way, driving day and night, and be back in Boston, actually it was, where we were at the time. So Prabhupada heard about it. He said, what do they want to do that for? They should stay there and do their service. So Vrindavan is the place of devotional service. If we're not doing devotional service, are we really in Vrindavan? And if we are doing devotional service, are we not in Vrindavan? So the essence of Vrindavan is devotional service. It's the place of devotional service. But there's so much facility here to realize that. And you're here, helping us all. Yes, in the back. The microphone is coming your way.
Hare Krishna. I would like to ask you about the hierarchy in the spiritual world, because you mentioned now here in the material world we defer to people or consider some our superiors. What about hierarchy in the spiritual world? Is it? Yeah.
There's hierarchy in the spiritual world too. Yashoda Mata and Nanda Maharaj, they're superior. First of all, they're older than the cowherd boys and Krishna and all of that, so they're superior. And Nanda Maharaj, he's the chief of the whole place. So they're superior. We read in Krishna book every morning when Krishna was out of Vrindavan, every morning the gopis used to come to pay their respects to the superior persons of Vrindavan, Nanda Yashoda. So there's hierarchy, definitely. Even Balaram is in the superior position to Krishna. He's the elder brother. The gopis are under the younger gopis are under the control of their fathers or their husbands. There's hierarchy. But all that hierarchy just contributes to Krishna's enjoyment. It's all meant for Krishna's pleasure. It all provides a framework in which the devotees can serve Krishna. If the cowherd boys were on the level of Nanda Yashoda, everything would be ruined for them. They're not. That's not their taste. Their taste is to serve Krishna like friends. And if Nanda Yashoda weren't in the superior position, everything would be spoiled for them, because their service is to control Krishna, to set him straight, to take care of him as guardians. So the hierarchy is there, but it's all for Krishna's pleasure and the pleasure of the devotees, because it's all arranged by the internal energy. Here everything's by the external energy. By the arrangement of the external energy, someone's put in this body, someone's put in that body, someone's put in another body, and everyone has to suffer the results of their karma, and the superior is inflicted on the subordinates, or vice versa. Everyone's exploiting everyone else, because everyone is the center of his own sense gratification. So here everything is arranged by the external energy, so that we can all think that we're controllers, we're enjoyers, and we can all be vidambana, totally bewildered. But in the spiritual world, the hierarchy and everything else is arranged by the internal pleasure, by the internal potency, and therefore it's always pleasing. Therefore the Upanishads say, tamasi ma jyotirgam. Don't stay here, go there. Satāṁ gatiḥ. That's the destination of the satāṁ, the pure devotees. Something else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I'd like to know right in from you.
First of all,
did the Brahmanas,
oh, there you are. Okay.
did the Brahmanas started worshipping Lord Krishna after the whole episode?
Did the Brahmanas start worshipping Krishna after the whole episode? It's not mentioned. The text doesn't say what they did. But at least here, they express realization that we missed the boat. We were supposed to be engaged in Krishna's service. Our wives got it right, we got it wrong. Of course, so often we find that there's realization and the next day the realization disappears. We go back to our bewilderment. So I can't say because the text doesn't say. They accepted their wives as gurus. Yeah, there was a GBC resolution actually that the Brahmins should accept their wives as
Maharaji, I personally believe that it should have been mentioned in the text.
Excuse me?
Maharaji, I personally feel that it should have been mentioned in the text that what did they do
Well,
to the
take
whole
it,
episode?
if you personally think it should have been in the text, you can take that up with the author.
My goodness, I am in a dilemma now.
I'm in a dilemma.
I am in a dilemma now. What to do, what not to do. Okay, Maharaji, please give your answer.
Someone here gave a good suggestion. Chant Hare Krishna. All dilemmas will be solved. There's another question here.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj. In this pastime, we see that Brahmanas were in bewildered, but sometimes because lack of clarity also we may not perform the service correctly, and whether we should offer it to the deity or if we have offered it to the senior Vaishnavas. So some kinds of dharma sankat or similar situations, dilemma, whether to do this way or the other way. Can you please suggest a defining line, catching on which we can assess the situation and serve correctly?
How to know whether we're doing the service right. Muyanti yat surya. The Brahmins were bewildered, even they weren't the only ones. Indra was bewildered, Brahma was bewildered. Everyone was bewildered by Krishna's internal potency. So as far as our knowing what to do, what not to do, we have our usual authority. Tasmat shastra pramanam te. Karya karya vyavastata. Gyatva. We should know shastra. Shastra vidhi. Gyatva shastra vidhi nokta. Karma karta nivarasi. So many questions. There's something wrong because that shouldn't happen. My karma. I see.
Your personal magnetism is interfering with your electronics.
So one should know from Shastra, that means we should read the books, and so many questions will be answered there. Then, sadhu and guru, the spiritual master, is there to guide us. What has my spiritual master instructed me to do? And that's our second and sadhus take direction from the devotees, guidance from the devotees. I'm recalling that His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami, when he had some decision, small decision, big decision, he would ask devotees, Panchagoda, what do you think? Right? He would consult. Probably no one had sharper intelligence than Tamal Krishna Maharaj. He was so such a calculating intelligence. But he would ask, Panchagoda, what do you think? What do you think? And he would decide. So that's our third source, the sadhus. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada also did that sometimes. Especially Tamal Krishna, what do you think? But others also, he would take the opinions of he sometimes ask my opinion.
Even Prabhupada wrote a letter to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta saying that so many of your disciples are doing so many good things, what should I do?
Mm.
He directly told them that, again, preach the English-speaking language.
Yeah, one instruction that changed so many lives and so much of the world. Yes? No. Years, right?
How do we attract that special mercy to be corrected as the Brahmins?
How do we
attract that special mercy to be corrected?
Attract that special mercy to be corrected?
It seems that we can be so.
Well, sometimes we attract that special mercy by messing up. The Vaishnavas are naturally inclined to be merciful. So they let us know. And by being, Prabhupada uses the word malleable, by being open. When people know that you can tell this guy 100 times and he's so thick he'll never get it, so why waste our mercy? Why waste our words? He's not going to do anything. But when someone, Bruyu Snigtasya Shishasya Gurave Gurumapita, the Naimisharanya sages glorified Sutta Goswami, that you're Snigta. Snigta means very submissive. And so, and Somya, very simple. And so your gurus have reserved, have bestowed upon you all the favors reserved for a humble, submissive disciple. Narad Muni also. He was self-controlled as a boy. He was self-controlled. He wasn't talkative. He had a serving mood. So the sages liked it. Nice boy. So he attracted their mercy. Yes.
When we're ill and we're sick in Vrindavan, and we're unable to go on program, how should we receive and understand?
How should we?
Receive and understand that illness and that sickness.
How should we understand that? Well, first we should understand that we have material bodies. And they're subject to the usual laws of material nature. You drink 3 dabs and take rest under a fan with an air conditioner going, chances are you'll get a cold. So our bodies are subject to the laws of nature, even if we don't do something really wild, the body can always give trouble. And we take it as Krishna's mercy also, that when we're sick, when we're in difficulty, then now I have to remember my actual position. I was thinking I was pretty much on top of it. I've got it, I'm doing my rounds, focus, and doing so much service. And now just, a common cold. And I'm struggling to change my rounds. I'm struggling to do anything. So this body puts us in our place again and again. We think that we're really something, and then the body just smashes us again. You fool. So that's also Krishna's mercy. Devotee takes everything as Krishna's mercy. When there's good fortune, when there's trouble, they're just two sides of Krishna's mercy. And it means I have to be serious. That, and from a mundane point of view, we should take care of our health. We shouldn't be daredevils, live any which way and expect that the body will just go along with whatever. Perform our routine activities in such a way that we give some attention to our health. Okay, there's hands all over the place. She's got the tallest hand.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for your wonderful class. Maharaj, I have a question. So we read in this chapter that the Brahmana wives, they were actually rewarded for not following the orders of their husbands. On the other hand, we see in the Shastras that the woman can progress spiritually when she follows her husband. So when we look from the point of view of the authorities, when we should follow and when we cannot follow our authorities.
When you're liberated, you don't have to follow anymore. When you're a pure devotee, you can forget about all other considerations. Like the gopis. Yeah, they went out to the forest to dance with Krishna. That's totally out of bounds. Absolutely wrong. Or relatively wrong, but absolutely right. So when we're on the transcendental platform, then we can ignore all the rules and regulations and so on. Yes? The microphone has to come back up front.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, my question is that sometimes when we are teaching, we see that the one we are preaching to sometimes does not respond. So how should a preacher take this event as an outcome of his impurities that he is unable to preach, or maybe it's not the time for that person to respond to?
Either or both. We're preaching to someone, the person doesn't respond. It could be because we don't have the purity and potency and discretion to give a powerful message. It could be because he's stubborn and obstinate and no amount of anything would pierce through his shell. Or it could be some combination of the two. In any case, if we're not getting anywhere, there's, what's the population of the world? There's a lot more people to speak to. We don't have to bang our heads against the wall with one person. Someone's not interested, we go to the next, the next, the next. All the book distributors know that. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Sometimes we have realizations, but they come and go as quickly as they come. How do we keep them, and how do we make it to a lasting impression?
By continuous service, by continuous association of devotees, by continuous reading, continuous chanting. There's not like a new answer. The materialists, even if they see something, they forget it. Pashanapi na pashati. They see it, but they don't see it. Or if they see it for a moment, it disappears. Because they're so covered by their material desires, material illusions, that even if something surfaces, it goes down very quickly. Because their whole environment, internal environment, is working against actually seeing. But the devotee arranges his environment, externally and internally, to favor realization of Krishna consciousness. He chants 16 rounds, he gets up early in the morning, he attends the Mangalarti, he associates with devotees, he purifies his heart, he reads the books. So everything's working in his favor. And for the materialist, everything's working against him. Okay, maybe one last question. Well, you have to give the microphone to somebody. I don't care who you give it to.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for a wonderful class. My simple question is like we are working in some companies and we are also coming on the Saturdays in the temple. So there is sometimes like in temple we are like in good association of devotees, so we are practicing it easily. But when we are outside, it's very difficult to practice. So what should be the mood outside in the world also that we can practice in not a sinusoidal graph, like constant we are progressing. So
first thing is, you can ask yourself, do I need to be out there? That's the first thing. If possible, avoid being out there, working in a company, associating with materialists, da-da-da-da-da. Why do I want to do that? If possible, if at all possible, just avoid all that and put yourself in the constant association of devotees and the constant atmosphere of service. Because after millions of lifetimes, we've got this human form of life. Why should, we've had jobs in millions of lifetimes. In this lifetime, we can go back to Godhead if we're serious. So that's the first thing. Otherwise, one has to arrange one's life in such a way that by following the principles of devotional service and so on and so on, even while we're out in the world, we can still be Krishna conscious. Okay. Thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.